Man here. We've all seen those videos asking questions to theists and questions to atheists. I just want to cut to the chase. Let's ask questions for God. Let's just ask the source. I mean, that would clear up a lot of things, wouldn't it? I have many questions for God, as I'm sure many people do. For whatever reason, though, so far, God has not given us any answers, at least in a way that we can be sure that it's God. Now, the religious pretend that they have arguments that should convince us that their religion is right and all the other religions are wrong, but all those arguments suck. I've pointed out how those arguments suck, but they don't listen to me. Oh well, anyways, whatever. So, God, if you're there, if you can hear me, if you're watching this video, listening to it, if somebody sent it to you somehow, if you have the ability to understand the English language, then I would like you to answer these questions, if indeed you can answer questions at all, because perhaps you don't have the ability to answer questions, or maybe you can hear me, but you don't care. But I was like, look, even if you don't care, just answer a question. Okay, so if everything that we know about is made of stuff, how is it that you apparently aren't made of anything? Now, I don't understand that. Maybe because I'm just a human and everything I know is made of stuff. But like, really, what are you made out of? Like, religious people keep telling me that you're not made of anything. That, like, God is made out of God. Like, how does that work? Like really, like, how does it work? How does you being you work? Like, okay, you've existed for like ever, for eternity. At least, again, these are all things people have told me about you. I've never actually heard what you are from you yet, and nor has anyone else, as far as I can tell. But nonetheless, okay, people tell me that you've existed for all this time. Although some people are like, well, there isn't time where you exist or you experience time differently, like it's atemporal, or it's the A theory of time, it's the B theory of time, it's the uh I don't have any idea what the bleep theory of time. Anyways, so you existed for all that time. Were you alone? Like, were you lonely? Were you bored? What were you doing? Like, just were you going crazy? Like, I need to make stuff. Like, did you always know that you could make stuff? Like, if you don't experience linear time, then you are always in the process of always being alone before you created the universe, but also always at the point where you created the universe, and also at the point where the universe is a thing, and always at the point where the universe is ending, and always at the point where like everybody is either with you or not with you. And yeah, what is the deal with humans like needing to be there with you or not? Like, religions have that thing. Like, they're like, oh yeah, if you believe this, then you go and you're with God. If you don't believe this, then you don't. But like some religions, it's like how you behave. Other religions, it's like you'll be reincarnated like a whole bunch of times until you just become part of like the universe or something, or like everything is gone. Like, how does that work? What does that mean? Like brains have minds, but if you don't have a brain, then you can't have a mind, but you're said to have a mind. Like, how does that work? I just need to understand it. Like, where does this power you supposedly have come from? I say supposedly because, again, I haven't seen any evidence that you have any power. In fact, I haven't even seen any evidence that you actually are a thing for me to ask questions of. But somebody somewhere will probably answer my questions for you. Like, they'll be like, well, you see, in my religion, God does this, that, and the other, and this explains this about God. And I'm like, okay, great, but you're not God. So, like, I'm trying to ask God the question, but I have to deal with all these people and, like, books and, like, old stuff and maybe even new stuff too. The new stuff is wacky stuff. Like there's a volcano and like a rocket ship gets shoved in the volcano and then that releases this alien and like I don't know, you have to get e-meters and spend all this money for a blue building. I don't understand that one. And then there's the crystal stuff and then the just round up different things and burn it and like write stuff down that you want to happen and just say words like a certain amount of times. That doesn't make any sense to me. But then like some people think that like the spells like those are evil, so you're not supposed to do that. But other people think that no, it's fine, so you are supposed to do it. But like, how do I know who's right? Like, what if I accidentally summon a bad god? Like, is there a good god, a bad god, and maybe there's like a neutral god? And maybe the reason we don't see anything happening is like the three of you are constantly fighting each other, and because you're all at the same power level, nobody can win. Like, is that how that works? Well, I guess if it is, you can't answer the question. But then, how did you make the universe? Did you make the universe? Like a lot of people think that you did. Like, and then like, what's the deal with you being a he? In a lot of religions, like you're a he, but you're not a he because you don't have a penis. Although I've been told lately you don't have to have a penis to be a guy. I don't know how that works, and that's in this reality. So, I'm not even going to get into how God's sexuality works. Like, do you even have a sex? Like, do you have sex? Like, in the Bible, you had sex with Mary to produce Jesus, or like the Holy Spirit did. But like, where did the DNA for Jesus come from? See, now I had a hypothesis that like maybe you just transported from Joseph his semen and just like beamed it into Mary. And then that's how that worked. To keep her a virgin, even though it's like young girl, it's nothing to do with virgin, but whatever, you got to make it a virgin birth because that makes it cooler. Yeah, so I don't understand that. And then like, heaven or hell, like I don't how does those places work? Like where do those places exist? And like how is it that our consciousness, which seems to rely completely on our brain, how is it that it somehow detaches itself from the body and like goes to wherever these places are? Like how does it know how to get there? Do you beam it there? Do the angels go there? In fact, why do you have angels? Like, do you have angels? Like, what do we need angels for if you can do everything? Like, you don't need a division of labor if you're all powerful. So, like, angel, the word angel means messenger. Well, but can't you just give the message? Why do you need to have an intermediary to deliver it? It just seems like a lot of extra steps. It just doesn't make sense. Again, like it's just me. It just doesn't make sense. And then, like, then there's demons, devil, and then like the devil and hell. But again, all those things are like they depend on the religion. Like some have dins and jinns and dust devils, or like things like you rub a lamp and you get a genie, and the genie will give you wishes, but they won't be what you want. They'll be like off kilter wishes. You never can just get the genie who understands what you want, just gives it to you. I guess because it doesn't make that cool of a story. Um, in fact, the whole thing with God, I just finished watching this TV show called Preacher, and I really liked it. God went missing in that show, and they like were looking for God, and then like it got really weird, and like it's just people fighting and a lot of violence just for violence sake, I guess. I don't know, but it was interesting. I like the characters anyway. So like in that show, right? Like God's actually talking to people, and like they know it's God. So why don't you just do that? I don't know. Like, why all the subterfuge and confusion? Why leave it up to us mortals to explain to each other what you are? Why not just explain it to everybody? Oh, I know I did that video where that guy explained why you don't do that, even though he really didn't explain why you don't do that at all. Like, how does it work? How does any of this work? Is it possible, God, that you're just something that we made up? I mean, and if you are, then I guess I'm not asking these questions to you. I'm just asking these questions to other humans, because every time I look up videos to find out if there's proof of God so I can do a video about it, all I see is humans arguing for God. Like, that's it. Like, God's not there. And then every now and then I'll see a video where like somebody's like, God gave me a message. I'm like, well, you're just straight up lying. And I usually post that as a comment. I'm like, why are you lying to people? Like, people are talking, once again, there's a few channels here and there talking about the end times. Oh no. Yeah, what's up with that? Like, oh, the end of the world? Really? Like, why? Why would you need to do that? I don't know. And it doesn't make sense. And I just want some answers to how any of this works. Like, where the power comes from. Like, how you use the power. Like, do you just want it to be stuff and stuff happens? Like, how does God work? Like, why are you God rather than not God? Why is there God rather than not God? Yeah, there you go. Instead of saying why is there something rather than nothing, I was like, why is there God rather than not God? Maybe that's just the way it is. Or maybe there's not God instead of God. Why is there nothing rather than something? What's the deal with lobsters? It's just some questions I have for God. Now, I know God is busy, but also God isn't busy, apparently, and God can do everything, although God doesn't seem to do anything that, you know, is like, we can't explain it. Like, why couldn't we just have a single, like, thing that we could prove? Like, that would be nice. Just, just a miracle that, like, happens that we could, like, see and understand and experiment on. That I don't know. Just send Jesus or somebody, like, I guess. But why do that? Like, I mean, there's so many. But then again, that's assuming you can do anything. Now, in some versions of religions, you're a goddess. Like, I think it's like, okay, because women give birth. Like, it would make a little bit more sense for God to be a woman, like, and give birth to the universe. But then, like, God's a woman, well, then who had sex with the woman to make the universe? So God's not a girl or a guy. And why does God always look like humans? Well, okay, that's not true, because, like, in India, they got the elephant thing going. They got all the other weird, like, those things, those statues, like, that they have, that they feed milk to and pretend that that's God drinking milk. Like, at least those statues look weird and don't look like anything. Well, okay, they kind of do. They look like elephants or whatever. And it's like, well, or like the one with four heads. Like, yeah, like, why would God look like anything that we've seen? Why wouldn't it look different? Like, what do you look like? Do you look like anything? Ah. Anyways, I expect your answers relatively soon here, God, and I look forward to all the answers that you're gonna give me and everyone else that's been waiting for the answers to be given. I also look forward to absolutely zero theists even attempting to answer any of these questions for you, because that's pretty typical as well. All right, God. Well, I'll let you get going now. I'm sure you've got better things to do than answer my pesky questions. Then again, maybe you don't. I don't know. You let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Also, like, if you could do something for me, you know what I want. I can't say it on air live. But you know what it is. So yeah, do that. And that too. Yeah, that thing. Also that. Yeah, okay, a lot of this is greedy. So, like, okay, world peace. I can say that, like, world peace would be cool. And, like, no more diseases. And don't end this broadcast.